Hi, guys. This is Carrie with Fullerton Professional Organizing. Here we help people declutter their faith, their home, and their business. And I have a guest with us all today. And I'm just going to go ahead and get started, let her introduce herself, and we're just going to chit chat and let you know what she does because we both have a similar personality. We have a similar business. We have a lot of similarities. So I'm going to go ahead and let her introduce herself and get started.
Sure. I am Eve King. I live in Southwest Missouri. I've been in nursing for 30 years, so that's always been the primary bread maker for me. About 4 years ago, I decided to branch out, become an entrepreneur, and the only other thing I was very good at was putting things away. So I found out that there was actually a job, like professional organizing was actually a thing. And I started doing that and loved it. I think that helping people get rid of stuff that's holding them back is really important. And clutter it's everywhere. Everyone's got it, and it's
And
pretty
you are
amazing.
already
Yeah,
in the serving people.
yeah, yeah.
You
Always.
have to
Mhm.
have that already. You
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to already have a heart to
Mhm.
serve people, right?
Absolutely,
It
yes.
doesn't fit if you just decide, oh, I'm going
Yeah,
to go
yeah,
and become a
yeah.
professional organizer, because it doesn't just work that way, right? You have to
Right. No.
really want to serve people.
Yeah, and I have found that in organizing, you're in the homes with people, and a lot of people feel very down on themselves for the way
Mhm.
that their situation has landed. And so, as a nurse, I've been able to meet people literally when they're in their worst predicaments of life. So
Mhm.
I feel like that has been a gift that God has given me. That it's like I don't there's no judgment. Let's just get this done. Let's just
Mhm.
get this fixed and done for you so you can feel better.
Yeah.
So, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
So you started 4 years ago in the
Yeah,
organizing business.
I did. Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. And I know this, but for the audience, when did you start podcasting and what was your thoughts there? Did you
Yes.
start it because of your business, or did you decide later, hey, I can incorporate a lot of the things I want to say? And
Yeah.
how did the
Yeah.
podcast come
Sure.
into
Sure.
fruition?
Sure. So I did organizing it was probably 2 years in, and I decided that a lot of what I was doing with the women I was working with was actually life coaching.
Mm.
And so I looked into Christian life coaching, what that looked like, and went through a certification course and did a lot of self work. I didn't know I was going to work on myself as much as I did. And kind of the podcast came out of that. So as a life coach, it's people need to know who you are, what you are about, and everything. And in my mind, life coaching is a lot like organizing. You're just organizing your thoughts, and that's what I've kind of been excited about. Is as a Christian, we have this ability to take our thoughts captive and have peace in our life. So
Mhm.
I started the podcast. It'll actually be 2 years on the 6th of December. And this week is going to be my 100th episode. So I'm super excited about
Oh,
that.
okay.
But that's where the podcast came from. It's more of, hey, if someone is going to hire me, they're probably going to want to know what I talk about, what I stand for, what I believe, where I come from, what I think, and
Mhm.
that's what I did. And it has been a lot of fun. I love to talk, so it's worked out real great. I
Yeah,
have a
you have to.
captivated audience.
Yeah, you have to have lots to say or find
Yes,
lots
yes,
to talk about. That's for
yes.
sure.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah, yeah,
gosh.
yeah, yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Well, so are you still, well, you're no longer nursing. You're
No,
just
I'm still
doing
in
this
nursing.
now.
I still do nursing. I'm still
Oh,
in
okay.
nursing. Yeah, and I work at a hospital about 40 minutes away. in the newborn ICU, which are the best
Oh,
patients ever. So
I bet.
yeah, I work there part time and while I'm working on growing my business. And I do still organize for
Mm-hmm.
people. So I
Mm-hmm.
still have that arm of my business and I'm growing the life coaching. And then recently, I'd say in the last, I guess it's been a year and a half ago,
Mm-hmm.
I heard God say, go speak. And so now I am developing the branch of my ministry of teaching and retreats and workshops and things like that. So I have done a few workshops. My
Yeah.
local church, the church I go to, is so good to let me
Mm-hmm.
invite women over and just chat about things. And so I've done a few of those, but I'm branching out, going and just going and teaching Christian women that,
Mm-hmm.
taking your thoughts captive is possible and that God wants us to live a peaceful life. And in that is the organizing also, it's
Mm-hmm.
so I love teaching systems like how to keep yourself organized, not just your stuff, but your time and your calendar and all the things that we have to do as women.
Yeah, yeah, there
Yeah,
is a lot
there is a lot.
moving
Yes.
parts. Now, have
Yes.
you read the book How to Have a Martha Home the Merry Way?
No, no,
Oh,
no.
well, if you're looking at, continuing the speaking and
Yes.
you want to figure out how all that can be
Hmm.
incorporated,
Hmm.
read that book.
That
Now,
sounds like,
I do
yeah.
caution you on
Uh-huh.
her life story book. Oh my gosh. The reason she wrote having a Martha home in a Mary way is
Hmm.
because she was raised by an alcoholic, drug addicted
Okay.
mom and
Okay.
did not know how to be
Yeah.
a lot of things.
Yeah. Yeah.
In Now she doesn't talk about that in that book, but I
Uh-huh.
read her story and I
Yeah.
literally, it's heartbreaking
Yeah. Oh.
how she was raised is
Uh-huh.
heartbreaking. So if you read that one is good too, but
Yeah. Yeah.
just
Yeah.
be reminded, just know that
Her background.
that one
Yeah.
is a hard read. But the
Okay.
Martha, having a Martha home in the Mary way is really good because
Yeah.
uh it's also a way you could teach it as a Bible study.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that is, I feel like the last 2 years I've just kind of spewed everything I could think of out, and I'm
Hmm.
becoming this next year is my intentional year.
Hmm.
I'm zeroing in on how to get down to the basics of life, your identity and what your role is in this world and where God has called you
Hmm.
to and how to live that in a way that honors your body and your soul and your
Hmm.
spirit, and understanding what those parts are, understanding what rest is and how important that is, and how to incorporate all of the things. And I really do want to focus in on time management and
Hmm.
home management and
Hmm.
not coming from like making it busier, because that's not the answer.
Right.
The answer is getting rid of stuff. And
Yeah.
that's one part of the organizing that I love. My favorite part of organizing is decluttering. Let's just
Hmm.
get rid of this stuff. And I'd say about 90% of my clients, once they just get the extra stuff out of their house, they feel so much
Hmm.
better and they feel like life is possible again.
Yeah,
And I
it's
think it's yeah, and I think it's the same way with our thoughts too. If we just get rid of the stuff that is not serving us well, but first you have to identify them. You got to sit and think, what is not serving me well? And then coming up with a way to change that and to mold it and let God mold you. And so I'm excited to get the new year started because I've got a
Mhm.
lot of good ideas. And I do want to incorporate the organizing in there too, because our
Yes.
homes are part of who we are.
Yes, and that's basically what her book is about,
Mhm.
is actually that I'm not sure if she tackles too much organization or
Yeah.
decluttering, but
Yeah. Yeah.
mostly it's home
Okay.
management,
That sounds exciting.
because she
Yeah.
just did not know how to
Yeah.
do any of that. And
Mhm.
because it's a Martha home the Mary way. It has
Hmm.
scriptures and all
Sure,
of that, and so it
sure,
is
sure.
really good. Um, yeah, I think now I don't I'm just going to reiterate what you said about when we go into people's homes, we really
Mhm.
don't judge. We don't.
No,
We're
no.
we understand where it comes from and why.
Yes,
So that's why we
yes,
don't judge. So I
yes.
had to say that before I talk about this YouTuber. If you've watched A Hoarder's Heart,
No, no. I
well,
I don't watch a lot of reality TV.
yeah, well,
So,
she just has a YouTube channel where
uh-huh,
she talks about she is a hoarder, a
uh-huh.
recovering hoarder.
Okay,
And the only
okay.
reason I'm bringing this up is because she had I don't know if she even talks, I don't re, she only talks about this one time. She doesn't
Mhm,
talk about it every time she does a video, but
mhm,
her testimony basically is that the reason she was a hoarder is
mhm.
because she didn't feel like she fit in and she had insecurities,
Mhm.
and these things made her feel
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah,
And so if
yeah.
I
Mhm,
that's really my two missions are
mhm,
like you. I want
mhm.
people to not there it's great to have things. We're
Yeah,
not
sure.
against
Yeah,
having beautiful things
no.
that make you feel good. But
Right,
what we
right.
don't want is for it to be your identity. So
R
that if you give
absolutely.
something away or if you let go of something, it
Mhm.
feels like you're giving a part of your person and your
Yes,
identity
yes,
away. And
yes,
that's another reason we incorporate Christ into what we
yes,
do, because
absolutely.
we want women to feel good about themselves
Right,
apart from their things. And
right,
then their things are just an added blessing to
right.
their life. And the other thing I think you touched on a little bit in home management, we're
Mhm.
not asking you to organize more calendar.
Mm-mm.
We're saying, maybe your calendar can be decluttered too.
Exactly,
Do,
exactly.
do your kids need that many activities? I'm not saying in it,
Absolutely,
I'm not saying,
absolutely.
and even you,
Yes,
us, I
yes,
mean, us as
yes,
women,
yes.
is this what God called us to serve at church?
Mhm,
Or did
mhm.
God call us to serve all the things at church? Is
Right,
everything at church
right.
our responsibility? Or do we have one responsibility
Mhm,
and we do it well?
mhm, mhm.
We have to
Yeah,
find exactly, I
yeah.
mean, now, of course, I'm not saying people need to sit down and be, oh Lord, please show
I don't
me
know, maybe that's what you need. Maybe
what
some
I
people
need to
do.
do. I'm just saying, don't
Yes,
say yes to everything.
everything. Yes, yes,
Find out
yes,
what you're good at and what
yes.
you feel like your
Mhm, mhm.
skills and talents are that God gave you, and
Yes,
use them. We don't have to
yes,
do all the things, even if it's for church, even if
yes.
it's
For
um
your kids, and yes, yes, and that
yeah.
is one of the things I spent quite a lot of time last spring. I had a workshop about it, and I just feel like I talked a lot about it, our boundaries. And I don't think that we honestly, and I say we because me too, we honestly don't even know what boundaries, what does that mean? What do they look like? And I think a lot of us, especially Christian women, feel like boundaries are mean and they're selfish. And why would you do that? You should be yes to everybody. But Jesus didn't say yes. Jesus walked away from a lot of situations he could have helped because he couldn't do everything in his flesh. And so what makes us think that we can? We can't.
Yes,
So
yes.
identifying what's important to you
Mhm,
and what God has put on your heart. And then you guard that and you put
mhm,
your little boundary. And I like to describe boundaries as a little picket fence. It's a little white, it's a beautiful thing. It's a pretty
mhm,
thing. And it's something that you open up and invite people in. It's not, you know, an 18-foot stone wall that keeps people
mhm.
out. It's something just that you get to invite what you want to come in.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like a lot of women understand that they have the control over that. They have control over their time. And I feel like the world just really pushes pushes us into believing we have to do more, we need to be more, our kids need to be in 3 different events, each kid needs 3 activities, and then we got to go to church 3 days a week, and then we got to do this, and you got to do that, and you got to make this and that, and you're like, and people get burned out and they wonder why they're sick. And as a nurse, I'm really interested in the effects of stress on our body, and even with our homes. There is scientific research out there that shows that if you have a cluttered home, you are more likely to suffer from anxiety or depression, because our brain is constantly processing what is around us. Oh, I need to do that, I need to put that away, that needs to be taken care of. Even if you're not consciously thinking of it, you're subconscious or unconsciously thinking of it, and it just weighs on you. So all of that, knowing what you should be doing but you're not doing, creates anxiety. And so having too much on your to-do list, or having too many things around you that are not enjoyable but are more of a to-do list, will affect your physical health. And I think that we need to understand that. And it just saddens me to see how the world teaches women that you just need to do more, and that's what it
Yeah.
looks like. Yeah, and it's not, and that's not what God has called us to. God has called us to a simple life, to serve the ones that are in our immediate care, and He's put us where we're supposed to be because we're supposed to be there. And so learning that, and people don't take time to stop and think, what
Mhm.
am I supposed to be doing really? And that's whether in your home or out of your home, for sure.
Yeah, because it really does happen, kind of like that analogy. I think another one of my guests used this analogy. It's kind of like when you put a frog in a
Mm.
boiling pot of water, it's going to jump
Yes.
out. But if
Mm.
you warm it up
Yeah.
gradually,
Yeah.
and that's how the clutter happens in our
Yes.
calendars and in
Yes.
our life. It doesn't
Yes.
happen instantly. It's a
Mm-mm.
slow burn. It just happens gradually. And before we
Right.
know it, we're cooking and we didn't realize we were on fire. And
Yes.
it's and
Yes.
another thing, this I used to love this commercial. This is another example that I think the Lord showed me is there's that commercial. I can cook it up in a pan.
Yeah.
Uh, I can do it
Bring
all.
home
I
the
don't
bacon. Yeah.
remember the whole. I don't remember
Yes.
the whole song,
Yes.
the whole
Yes.
thing,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we can.
Mm-mm.
But
Yeah.
I learned during COVID,
Yeah.
guess what? We can do it all, but we
Yeah.
don't have to.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
something that we programmed ourselves to
Mm-hmm.
do because we thought that was what we
Yes.
needed to do.
Right.
Sure, we can work full time, we can take care of our homes.
Mm-hmm.
Sure,
Mm-hmm.
our sure we it makes us feel more powerful,
Right. More in
empowered.
control.
It
Yes.
makes
Yes.
us feel more empowered to
Yes.
know that we can do it all.
Yes.
But
Yes.
guess what? Part
Yeah.
of that empowerment also is letting go
Mm-hmm.
of what
Yeah.
doesn't serve us
Yeah.
and not doing too much, putting boundaries, like you say, around
Mhm.
what's important for you and your family.
Right. Right.
um right, and just making sure, that's why I do podcasting also on Mondays,
Mm-hmm.
because we as entrepreneurs, and we can go, okay, I need every hour filled with
Yeah.
clients. I
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
to make the money. I have
Yeah.
to do all the things so that I
Yes.
make the money. And there's a part of us that's not really trusting the Lord in it.
Absolutely.
I have learned,
Yeah.
yes, some of it was forced learning through COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I
Yeah.
did work full time, I wasn't doing my business at that time.
Uh,
But COVID taught me to slow down.
yeah.
And then
Yeah.
when I started my business, I realized that it was such a self care, reading
Mm-hmm.
my Bible every morning. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not about doing it every morning.
Mm-mm.
Just the fact that I read my Bible every morning was self care.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It
Slowing
doesn't have to be
down,
hard. Yes.
yes,
And we,
slowing
and we,
down
yeah. Yeah.
was self care.
Yes.
Not
Yes.
being overwhelmed was
Yes.
self-care, and
Yes.
having my Mondays to
Hmm.
catch up on my dishes
Hmm. Right.
and to do my podcasting and
Hmm.
any part of my business that needs to be done
Hmm.
is done on Mondays.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I still take Sundays as my day of rest, whichever
Hmm.
day you take for your day of rest.
Hmm.
Those things, you know, all of those things in the Bible were not rules because
Hmm.
this is what makes God happy. Guess what? God was doing it to help
Yeah.
us not be overwhelmed.
Yeah,
It's
I
total
mean, imagine,
opposite.
yeah, imagine that the creator knows what we need. I mean, who would have thought, and
Yes.
that
And
is,
it
and I don't,
wasn't things to make him
no,
happy, it
no,
was things
no.
to protect
Yes,
us.
yes,
It's the
yes.
total opposite.
Yes, exactly. And I love to compare ourselves as toddlers to God, because toddlers run around like they own the world and they know what they're doing and why they're doing it. And then when things fall apart, they have a meltdown. And I see us doing that often. Like we're running around, we know what we're doing, and we're going to say no to, no to whatever. And then God is like, man, it does not have to be this hard. Just slow
Yes.
down and listen. I've got a way for you. I've got a way. And you're
Yes.
right. Those self care, I think a lot of people think, well, that's just selfish, or that's just one more thing I need to do. And when you start realizing why God says, read your Bible, get in the word.
Mhm.
Um, when you understand the why, it just motivates you.
Yes.
And, one of the things that kind of an epiphany I had about 15 years ago now was understanding just the simple just this simple idea that God is love.
Mm.
So everything that comes out of him,
Flows.
from him, through him, is because he loves us. And
Yes.
so, and that shapes your identity, that
Mhm.
shapes your calling, that shapes everything that happens in your world, and shapes your thinking and
Mhm.
how you feel and how you treat other people, is just understanding that one concept, that God is love. And
Mhm.
once I grasped that and truly held on to it, like he was talking to me and that he meant it, I my whole life changed. I mean, I was able to let go of a lot of emotional issues that I've held on for years and years. I
Mhm.
was able to see life differently.
Mhm.
And it was just a life transformation, as understanding that God is love. And it's
Mhm.
been a motivator for me to share that with women, that God
Yes.
loves them. He
Yeah.
loves them right where they are. And you don't have to be perfect before you get there.
Mhm.
It's just right where you are, just like you would your babies. You love them right where they are. And I think that can be powerful, but you have to slow down to hear things
Mhm.
like that. You can't
Yes.
be running around doing 30 things in an hour and hearing that. You're not going to. And
Right.
that's why
Right.
he says read your Bible, because that's how we get filled up. That's how he speaks to
Mhm.
us, is through his word. Super
Yeah,
important.
and there are a lot of people, because we do know that there is judgment, and but at the same time there's grace and mercy. And a lot of the judgment doesn't actually come from God. It comes from us doing it our way and God going, "Okay,
Yeah, consequences. Yeah.
you do it your way, but this is what's going
Mhm.
to happen." It's not
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not that he put his finger on it and said,
Yeah.
"Okay,
Yeah.
this is your punishment."
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's
Yeah.
like that saying, he can't rebuke you out of you.
Yeah.
Judgment
Yeah.
comes from doing it your own way, because
Yeah.
it's a domino effect, not
It is.
because he's like, "Oh, you didn't obey me, so I'm going to
Yeah.
punish you." Well,
Right. Right.
we didn't
Right.
listen to him in the first
Right.
place.
Right.
That's why we didn't obey
Yeah.
him. It's not,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Yeah.
all guardrails. It's
It
all
is.
trying to protect us and
Yes.
trying to bring us
Hmm.
closer to him. And
Yeah.
when we see him as our identity,
Hmm.
then we can have things that bless us
Hmm.
without the blessings being so crowding out everything in our
Yeah.
minds and schedules, you know, blessings, once they start crowding out
Hmm.
everything else, then they are no longer blessings,
Right.
you
They're
know.
just
So as long as we can
items. Yeah.
declutter
Hmm.
what's not serving us,
Hmm.
declutter what's making us overwhelmed,
Hmm.
declutter what's keeping us from Christ,
Hmm. Hmm.
then the blessings really are visible blessings. We can,
Yes, absolutely.
see
Yeah.
them. Uh,
Yeah.
so
And it and
that's, yeah.
it starts with that, but you have to know. I mean, like when people are declared, like I worked with a client for a year and
Mm-hmm.
we went through every piece of item in her home. Um, a couple of times because in the
Right,
beginning it was I don't know if I can get rid of that. I don't
right.
know if I can get rid of that. And that's really why I started leaning into this coaching thing,
Mhm.
because a lot of reasons why women hold on to things is because they don't have the right mindset. And so
Yes,
just having
right.
someone there, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that's the best part about organizing is I don't know how many times the organizing part was just me asking questions. What
Mm-hmm.
is this serving you? Like what will you do with this? Is this
Mm-hmm.
so having to ask those questions, what do you want out of life?
Mm-hmm.
I want to be a good mom. I want to be a mom available to my kids. I don't want to be a slave to my house anymore. Okay, so how do you think you should get that? Well, I've got too much stuff. Okay, so then later, well, I don't know if I should get rid of that. Okay, but is this serving your purpose then? You told me you don't want to be a slave to your home, but is this going to serve you well to be the
Mm-hmm.
mom, the homeschooling mom that you want to be? Is
Mm-hmm.
this what's going to get you to where you want to be? Oh,
Right.
no, that's not. Okay, but is there someone else that could use this? And I've done that a lot. A lot of people get motivated if they realize, oh, I can give it to someone who needs it. And I don't know how many items of her girls that she was able to get rid of because she could tell herself, someone else needs this more than I. And
Mm-hmm.
so just in the beginning, just understanding that mindset, why am I doing what I'm doing? And I don't think a lot of people do that on a regular basis until
Mm-hmm.
it's like crisis mode. Why am I doing what I'm doing? And then
Right.
it's kind of like, well, now now it's a little harder. It's still possible, but it's a little harder. So
Yeah,
taking that time.
we don't judge, and this is me
Mhm.
setting up for what I'm fixing to say again. We are not judging people because of the dust, right?
No,
Because
no.
under my TV, the thing that holds up my TV has
Yeah.
lots of dust.
Exactly.
But
Yes.
dust on some items
Mhm.
does indicate whether you use it or
Yeah,
not.
absolutely.
Therefore, there are things,
Mhm.
because of course, my my cabinet holding up my TV is still being used to hold up my TV, even though
Right.
it's dusty. So, like I said, we're not judging the dust. We're just
No,
saying
no.
there
Yeah,
are
yeah.
some items that we know we're not using
Mhm.
because of the dust layer on it.
Yeah, that's a good indicator. Yeah.
If you have things that you have kept for years and years and years, but it
Mhm.
hasn't been touched,
Mhm. Mhm.
it doesn't have fingerprints in the dust,
Yeah. Yeah.
then that might be an indicator that you don't need it anymore. Or
Mhm.
if you forgot you had it in a box,
Yes.
if it's
Yes.
in a box already and you
Yes.
even forgot that that box existed and you opened
Yes.
it up, that's an indicator that you
Yes.
may not ever use it again. Now,
Yes.
of
Yes.
course, there's just like I said with my cabinet that's full of dust right now, there, of course, are exceptions.
Oh, sure.
That's
Yeah.
not a,
Yeah.
I'm just, for my audience sake, I want them to understand
Yes.
what we're saying, what we're not saying,
Right. Right.
and
Right.
these are just little hints
Mm-hmm.
of
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
things that
Yeah.
they may not be serving us anymore. Um,
Right, right. And I think that is something I've talked to many clients before is are your things serving you, or are you serving your things?
Mm-hmm.
And if you are serving your things and they are a priority in your life, you really need to consider your priorities. And
Mm-hmm.
I think, we don't have golden statues that we bow down to as idols anymore, but we do have things that we put up on a shelf, and it is an idol to us. And it's that I want more, or what if I need it later? That mentality that I don't know that God's going to take care of me, so I need to keep this.
Yes, the
There is,
trust issue,
yes,
the
yes, and
trust
that.
that
Mhm,
you're gonna, I mean, Peter Walsh is the person I think that started
mm.
this. He's like, oh, I forgot what I was gonna say.
I feel like I have read one of his books before, or he is. Oh, it's been a long time since
Oh
I've.
yeah, I forgot
Yeah,
what I was gonna say, but it'll come back to me.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But what I do want to make a correction of what I said about the dust too. There are things we're dusting.
yes,
We may
yes,
not need to be dusting
yes,
every
yes,
day also
yeah,
because we're
yeah,
not using it. So it's
exactly.
not always the dust that's sitting on it, but it's
Yeah,
also what are we
yeah,
dusting that
yeah,
we
yeah.
could dust less
Yes.
if we
Well,
didn't have it.
yeah,
Oh,
and
the Goodwill. I'm sorry.
okay.
Before I
Nope, go
forget
ahead.
again, sorry.
Yes.
Peter Walsh said, if you can go to Goodwill and pick
Mhm,
it up again
mhm,
for less,
uh-huh.
then it's safe to let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go. If
Mhm.
you think that if you need it again, you could
Yeah.
probably go and find another one
Yes.
at Goodwill. Now,
Yes.
that's not everything in our
No.
homes, but there are certain things that, hey, if we get rid of all those frying pans and find that one of them we
Yes.
kind of started needing, go to
Yes.
Goodwill and pick up another
Yes.
one. And the thing is, at Goodwill, you may even be able to find a better
A
brand than
better
the
one.
one
Yeah.
we gave away.
That's what I was thinking. Absolutely. Yeah. That, and it does work like this. You get rid of something that you've had in a box for years. I'm never using that. I don't need it. You get rid of it. Invariably, you will come into a situation. Well, if I did not let that go, I would have had that. But then you think, well, but life still goes on. It's fine. Yeah, I mean, I could use that now, but I don't have it. So let's use something else. And it's just that mindset. It's a
Mhm.
lot of mind work. What am I thinking about this stuff? How am I feeling about this? Why do I have this? And if you have items put away that mean something to you, why are they not out? How
Mhm.
much do they really mean to you if they're
And
put in a
that's
box?
also a Peter
Yeah,
Walsh. If
yeah,
they're
yes,
gathering
yes,
dust in the
yeah.
basement, are they
How
really
important?
being
Yes.
honored?
Yeah, and then you do have to recognize something that I've realized lately is that we are all in different seasons of our
Yes,
life. There may be, if you have small children, you may not want the china out because
that's
that
right.
will end poorly. But hey, this means a lot to me. And when my children get older and it's safe again, if it's ever safe with kids in your house, then I'll put this out because it does mean a lot to me. But
Yeah.
if it's like, I've had it, and why have I kept it? Because I tell myself I should. But,
Mhm.
and there's just all sorts of reasons. I think the important thing is to recognize, just to be intentional. What
Yes.
and why am I doing what I'm doing? And I want to give women that I want to give them that encouragement. It's okay. It's okay
Mhm.
to be intentional. It's okay to put
Mhm.
yourself first. It's okay
Mhm.
to look around and say, what can I let go of?
Yeah.
It's okay to do that. And actually,
Yeah.
I think God wants us to do that. God does
Yeah.
not want us
Because
to put our homes above him.
decluttering is self-care as well.
Absolutely. Yes,
It really
absolutely.
is. It,
Hmm.
because if those items are filling up all your space in
Hmm.
your stewardship,
Hmm.
like I said, if you're having to dust it all the time, but it's not
Hmm.
something you have so much stuff to dust,
Hmm.
and we're just using that as an analogy. That
Oh yeah.
we're
Yeah.
not,
Yeah.
again, we're not judging the dust because we
No.
don't have it. It's just an
Yeah.
analogy to get our thoughts across.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just a
Yeah.
stewardship,
Yeah. Yeah.
helps you.
Yeah.
And that's
Well, I
why
mean,
it's
yeah,
self-care.
and God wants us to steward not just our things, but our time
Mhm.
and our money. And one thing, I've had clients, they have two or three storage buildings
That
that they're
was another
renting,
thing I
and
was
you're
going to
like,
mention.
oh my goodness, how much money are you forking out each
Mhm.
month just to hold stuff you're never going to look at again?
Mhm.
But it's just, and that's, once again, it goes back to what is important to me in my life. Well,
Mhm.
if it's important to me that I want to be able to be in a position where I can help other people financially or whatever, but I'm having to pay $150 every month for storing stuff that's not serving me, then I
Mhm.
can't do what God has put on my heart to do.
Mhm.
And so that's just one more thing, one more way of thinking of it,
Mhm.
one more different way of
Yes.
accessing and looking at and justifying why it's okay to get rid of things. And a lot of people
Mhm.
keep things because, well, I might need them, or I didn't have them before and now I do. And I have helped women whose parents came out of the depression and they
Yes.
held on to everything,
That's a big one
everything. Yes, it really is a big
because
one.
they had
Mhm.
to.
They had to, yes, yes, and we do not have to. And when you start looking at all of the excess in our country, just here,
Mhm.
it's almost sickening to look at. I mean, when you have too many clothes. One time I went with my daughter when she was little. We went to a local Salvation Army store, and they had in the back, they had this. It was where the ceilings were there. It was big. It was at least 40 or 50 feet high. I mean, it was a big room, and all that was in there was a mountain of clothing. And I just thought, wow, you've got people around the world who don't have clothing, and we have so much
Mhm.
extra. People don't want to wear it anymore, clothing. And it just amazes me. It just amazes me the amount of stuff that we have here in this country.
Yeah.
And it's a lot. You just think, wow, it's a
Yeah.
lot.
I
And yeah.
is going back to the storage unit. This
Hmm.
is this is what helped me. A lot of the things also as organizers
Hmm.
is these are things that have helped us that we pass along to clients too. That's why we're
Hmm.
not judging. I
Absolutely.
had
Yeah.
a before this business, I had a party business and I had
Hmm.
bought vintage furniture that
Hmm.
I really enjoyed for that party business. And when I shut down with COVID, I wasn't ready to let go of those things.
Hmm. Hmm.
So at that time, I was willing to have a storage unit
Hmm.
because my mind could not let go of
Hmm.
the things.
Hmm.
But I was listening to another party planner who
Hmm.
was just happened to be talking about those clear chairs that
Hmm.
she sometimes uses for events. And she said, my storage unit is so big and has so much stuff because she did events.
Right.
I did
Right.
little parties. She did these huge
Yes.
events. And she says,
Yeah.
what I pay for my storage unit, I could buy these chairs over and over again for
Yes.
an event,
Yes.
brand new.
Yes.
And that I was paying $80 a month for my
Hmm.
storage unit.
Hmm.
And I started thinking, wow, you know, the things in a storage unit that $80 could buy,
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
even if, because I know, well, one of the cabinets, I did close the storage unit and I did put the china cabinet in my home. I
Hmm.
just didn't have enough room for everything I wanted to keep. So it
Hmm.
went into the storage. I finally did, sell everything and I kept what I could fit in my home. But the
Hmm.
china cabinet I had only bought at a garage sale for $100. And
Right.
now that's the thing I kept.
Yeah.
And I was paying $80 a month for a
Yeah.
year. I paid
Yeah.
$80 a month for a year. And the
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
thing I kept from that unit that I
Uh-huh.
didn't sell was a china cabinet.
Uh-huh.
And there might have been a few other things, but
Yeah,
not
yeah,
enough to justify the $80.
yeah,
So
yeah,
everything that was in there,
yeah.
so we're not saying, just throw everything out.
No,
Maybe
no,
things in
no.
your storage unit that
Yeah.
you could sell or use and not
Yeah,
be paying that monthly fee
right,
because
right.
you could purchase that item every month.
Exactly.
$80
So,
wasn't quite a
yeah,
hundred, but I could have
yeah.
paid for that
Yeah,
china
well, you essentially paid $1,000 for that china cabinet.
cabinet. Exactly. And
Yeah,
that is
yeah,
the
yeah.
mindset
Yes,
that
yes,
revolutionized
yes.
me.
And for some people, that works. Some people, they don't care. And
Yes.
so, one thing I did want to mention that something you said was there, like when I started working with my client, that she's the longest client I've had, where we were in her home for a year,
Mhm.
almost 2 times a week. I mean, I was there a lot. And one of the things that is super important as an organizer is when you go into someone's home, you can see all that needs to get rid. You know what they're using, what
Yes.
they're not using, what just needs to go. But you have to honor where they are in the process. And if
Exactly.
they say, I'm not ready to get rid of this, they're not. And so they have to get to that point. So I just move on. Okay, she's not ready to get rid of this, let's keep moving on. And it's a little difficult because you think, oh, this is going to take so long because she's not where she wants to be. But you can't force that. You have to be okay with where you are.
Mhm.
And if you are not okay getting rid of something, then don't. And what I will tell people is, put it in a box and label it, put the date on it. If you're not back in that box in 6 months or a year, or you
Yeah.
give however long you think it needs to
Yeah.
be, then if you're not in there, then maybe you're ready to let go of it. You just didn't know
Mhm.
it. And that is, so this is a story I like to tell a lot of my clients. So my husband and my son like to save everything. Like everything is sentimental. They wanted all the toys. And when my son was little, we had buckets of McDonald like toys, just those little bitty junky toys that don't mean anything, that he never played with. And so my husband was like, you can't just get rid of his toys. I'm like, okay, how do I deal with this then? Because his room is overflowing. And so what we would do is we would, about 2 or 3 times a year, we'd pull everything out and we'd start sorting. Do you still play with this? Yes. Okay, we'll keep it out. Do you still play with this? No. Okay, are you ready to give it to someone who is? Absolutely not. I'm keeping that. But one of the ways that we did this was we had a bin for all of his toys that he was going to give his children. So if it meant something to him, but he was done playing with it, we would put it in the bucket for his children.
Yeah.
And so now you have to have space to do this. And we did in our basement. We had space. I don't know how many containers we had of toys saved for my child's children, that he's 4, like he doesn't have children yet,
Right.
but then, so we put that all away. No one had any hurt feelings. Nothing left the house that made them feel uncomfortable. It was all still safe and sound. And then when he was 10 or 11, I said, okay, now that you have a little bit of time between yourself and those toys, let's go back and look at that. What out of this stuff, what do you think kids would want to play with? What do you really want to save now for your children? And we did keep things like the books,
Mhm.
the toys that did mean something to him. He was able, he had better sense of what meant something. And then we got rid of like over half of it. And
Mhm.
then again, he's 13 years old. Okay, let's look at this. Are you willing to, when you leave the house, you got to take this with you? Like, I'm not going to keep this for you. You
Yeah.
have to take it with you. Are you willing to take this? Is this something you want to share with your children? And then another 50% of it went by the wayside. It was like, no, why would I do that? This is
Yeah.
who would play with this? So there are ways
Yeah.
to work through. You have to honor people where they are. If
Yes.
they are not ready to get rid of it, then you need to find a reason to keep it and a system in place to address it again. And I think that is a lot of it. People think, oh, I'm going to have a professional organizer come in, they're going to help me get rid of all my stuff. My house is going to look like, um, that whatever that channel is with all the pretty houses and all garden, home and garden, home, HGTV. That's it.
Yeah.
It's going to look like that. It's going to be great. And then it doesn't work that way. And it's a process
Yes.
every few months. And that's what organizers, that's the secret. That's what we know. We know that every quarter, every twice a year, every year, there are areas we have to go back through. And then we have to decide what we're going to do with what it is that we don't want
Yeah.
anymore. But you have to be okay. The client has to be okay letting go of that stuff. And for some
Absolutely.
people, paying $80 a month to keep their stuff is completely fine with them,
Mhm.
even though you're thinking, this is
Yeah.
such
And
significant.
also as an organizer, we kind of have to think ahead of the one that is rushing through getting rid
Yes.
of
Yeah.
everything and
Yes, there are
realizing,
those too.
oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
recently had a client, and bless his heart, this is audience, this is another thing that a good fit with your organizer. You have to have one that is a good fit for you,
Mhm.
because this gentleman, now this is a married couple, but his previous wife had passed.
Mhm.
His Both his children had passed.
Oh,
Yeah, it
yeah.
was one of those situations where your heart is just okay.
Yeah.
He kept some stuff, and
Mhm.
now it's time for him to
Right.
declutter.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So this is just one example. He hands me a picture of himself as a baby. It's a baby picture of himself. And
Mhm.
he's like, oh, we're getting rid of this. And I was like, are you sure? You don't think
Mhm.
your wife is going to want this picture? And he's like, no. So I just slip it out of the
Yeah.
frame, turn it over on the table,
Yes.
and I
Yeah.
actually forgot about it. It was
Uh-huh.
on the table. Well, the
Uh-huh.
next week when I came, um, a wife saw this and picked it up and looked at it, and she's like, oh, look, your baby picture. And
Uh-huh.
I
Uh-huh.
was like, oh, yeah, he wanted me to throw that away. It was turned over, and I
Yeah. Yeah.
actually forgot to tell you about it. And
Yeah.
she's like, I am so glad you
Oh,
kept that. She said,
yeah.
but what about the frame? I was like, well,
Yeah.
I did take it out of the frame, and I
Yeah.
did, declutter the frame.
Yeah.
And also, now this was sort of by choice, but not for the same choice that we're going to talk about. He had also gotten so tired of going through his photos. We
Mm.
had two garbage bags full of photos. Well,
Mm.
I couldn't fit everything in my van.
Mhm.
So I chose to leave those two
Mhm.
bags,
Yeah.
not really knowing, not really having a light bulb moment, but
Yeah.
thinking, you know what?
Yeah.
Those are
Yeah.
photos. I can
Yeah.
take those later, because I didn't feel like the photos were really trash. So
Right.
we left them.
Right.
And I got back there the next week, and she was like, has any clients ever regretted something that they gave away? And
Mhm.
I was like, no, they really haven't. And a lot of times when I feel fearful, I will keep things in my
Yes.
van all weekend
Yes.
just
Yeah.
in case
Just
I
in
get a
case.
call.
Yes. Yes.
Now, sometimes I can't do that because I have
Right.
back-to-back clients, but
Right.
if I can, they'll stay in my car. And
Yeah.
she says, well, he's feeling a little guilty about the photos. And I was like,
There you
great.
go.
Two bags that I
Yes.
left
Yes.
were the
Yeah.
photos. And so
Yes.
now he's
Yeah.
taking his time
Good.
and
Good.
going through the photos. So
Yes.
you really do have to have an organizer that either accidentally hears from the Lord,
Yes, absolutely.
and
Well,
that's
and there are some things that are priceless, and I believe photos are one of those things.
mhm,
I had one client one time where she was very much into her family tree, and so much so that and she was an older lady, so she was in her 80s, and she had
mhm,
pictures back from her childhood and her mother's childhood, and I mean, old pictures. And she was in touch with the town that she lived in. Their is it a history museum? What do you call that? Where you have where it's like the history of the town or whatever. But so this woman was able to give a lot of her pictures to the town because it was her family, but it was the town too.
Oh yeah,
So I personally believe like if someone wants to get rid of
the
pictures, it's like,
historical society.
yes, the historicals.
Mhm.
Yes, 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 yes. So pictures are one of those things you can't get back. Like that's
Right.
when it's gone, it's gone. And now I do recognize there's a whole lot of organizing. It's a lot of organizing of
Hmm.
pictures. Pictures are hard, they're very time consuming. It isn't something that I've actually done a lot of just
Hmm.
because people they get tired of it. They're like, just put it in a box and be done. And and I have the same issue.
Yeah, it's
Like
very
I have boxes
tedious.
of it. It is
Photo
very tedious.
organization
Mm,
and paper
yes,
organization is a very,
very
very
tedious.
tedious,
Mhm,
and the
mhm.
organizer can't do it
Right.
because she
Exactly. It's
can't
more
make
of,
those
yes,
decisions. They're
yes,
important.
yes.
You don't know what's important and what
What
isn't.
means
And that
something. Yes,
some of the other stuff you can kind of make those decisions, but
yes.
those
Yeah,
are,
pictures are,
yeah,
it's
and it's very
definitely,
tedious. You have to have a
mhm,
lot of patience, and you have to
mhm.
also recognize when the client is just throwing it away because
Yes,
um they got tired.
yes.
So you
The
have to have a
fatigue is
sense, you know
real.
what?
Yeah.
We're going to set this aside.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's why I say,
yeah,
having an organizer that can recognize, oh, yeah, he's not
mhm,
just
yeah,
wanting to throw these away.
yeah,
He is just tired. It's
yeah,
just his mental load
yes,
is just not there
yes.
anymore.
Well,
So it
decision
worked out.
fatigue is a real thing.
Yes.
It is a real thing. So
Mhm.
yeah, so pictures take extra time,
Mhm.
extra energy, and but they also don't take up a lot of space either. They are something you can put in a bin, slide in the closet, under the bed. I wouldn't recommend the attic or the garage for pictures, but
Mhm.
that you can put them other places until you can go
Yeah,
through
as long
them.
as you have boundaries on how many
Hmm.
to keep, because I have
Yes, the
seen
space. Yeah,
10, I've
yeah.
seen 10 bins of photos. And I'm not
Well,
talking
that's
about little bins. I'm talking about
yes.
the big,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah. Well,
So,
and that's where you get the family involved. That's where you
mhm.
start. And that my mom is in that process right now where she's going through her pictures and she's like, this, I don't want all of these anymore. So my sister and I and my daughter were able to go through and say, oh, I want this, I want this, I want this. And so now I have boxes in my closet that have to be gone through because I'm like, I don't know what to do with all these pictures now. It's a real thing. But there are organizers who just do pictures. And I'm not really sure how they do that without the client helping. I
Yeah,
think that because you're just looking at people, you don't even know who you're looking at. So I don't know how they do that.
yeah, I
But
don't
yeah,
think,
I think that's so cool that you left the pictures. I think that's a really
yeah,
that's an example of you're right, listening
yeah,
to
yeah.
mm-hmm,
And even when the organizer's not sure,
mm-hmm,
there's a sense there.
mm-hmm,
And they
yes,
listen to that sense, because I was
yes,
like,
yeah,
yeah, you know
yeah,
what? Those are the bags of trash I'm gonna leave for next
yeah,
time, because
yeah, yeah,
uh, even
yeah.
I'm having a hard time
Yes, there
with
are times
throwing
you're like,
those out.
"Oh, I don't think we should get rid of that. Are you sure? Are you sure? Yep, I'm done with it. Had enough. Okay, okay, okay."
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And then
And picking charities.
yeah,
Like, I
yeah.
only have two because I
Hmm.
found that it was too hard, and
Hmm.
I was trying to save stuff for people in need.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
and I was going to have them come if they needed pots and pans,
Hmm.
you know, and dishes, if, they were kicked out of their home and now they have a home. But my house was starting to
Oh, yeah. No,
look
I don't have
like
space for
a
that.
flea
Yeah.
market, and I
Yes.
couldn't do
Yeah.
that anymore. So,
Yeah.
so I now do tell my clients, because some don't like Goodwill. So I
Hmm.
will like, okay, I have the
Hmm.
children's home that
Hmm.
will
Yeah.
sell the nice stuff because they
Yeah.
help the children and they help those that age out. And
Right.
I have Goodwill. I said, but
Right.
those are the only two I can do
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
sometimes I have back-to-back clients and I don't
Yeah.
have time to drive to the family
Right.
crisis center and then them say, oh, well, we don't have room for that. Or
Right.
drive to this one and it's closed at
Right.
3 o'clock. Or you drive, I was
Yes.
starting also to drive all over town trying to
Yes.
give these to the good
Yeah.
charities that help
Yeah.
women and help
Yeah.
abused. I
Yeah.
just couldn't
Yeah.
because I had back to back and it
Yeah.
was starting to take a lot of my time.
Hmm.
So that's another thing I had to set
Yeah.
boundaries on. I didn't
Yeah.
like it, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it's either
Yeah.
Goodwill because they take everything and they help
Yes.
me unload it because
Yes.
it's
That's
something.
good.
When you're exhausted at the end of the
At
day,
the end, yes. Yes. The thought of
they
unloading your car, you're like, oh, it's so much. So
exactly.
much.
I spent a whole hour getting this in my
Yes.
vehicle. Now I have to
Yes. Yeah.
immediately take it out. And
Yeah.
then the children's home. So that's another thing is making
Mhm.
sure we have the right charities that kind of help you, but also
Yeah.
help your clients let go
Right. Right.
because not
Yes.
all of them want it
Yes.
to go to Goodwill, which,
Yeah, yeah. Well, I live in a small town and Goodwill is about an hour away. So
hmm,
there is a lady that I go to church with here in town that runs an organization. It's called For the Kids. And she collects items, mostly kids' clothing and shoes and every season there's something new that she needs for foster kids
yes, that's
and kids who are
awesome.
aging out. And so, but the good thing with her is she does take everything. And then
Oh,
several
good.
times a year, she has garage sales. So whatever she doesn't use for the children, she
Hmm.
will have garage sales and make a few $1,000s a year with all of this stuff. So everything. And then she passes along what doesn't sell to however she does it. So
Hmm.
it is the only trouble with that one is she's not open all the time. So there are days I'm driving around with stuff in the back of my car waiting for her to be open and for
Yeah,
me to have time and her to be open at the
yeah,
same time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's got to be convenient
It
also.
does. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely.
and that was really the best thing because I do have the the Goodwill and the thrift store is
Mhm.
fairly close, but I like giving to Goodwill because they also employ
Yes.
those
Yeah.
that have mental challenges that need to
Yeah.
work, but yet
Yeah.
they have some challenges
Mhm.
mentally, and I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know they sell the stuff, and
Yeah.
I know sometimes the prices might be
Yeah.
something that you don't approve of,
Yeah.
but it
But
still helps people. It helps
it does.
employ people that
Yeah.
need work. And
Yeah.
so I love Goodwill. There may be things that I don't know about. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Well, I think overall you probably get better prices. I mean, but yes, I have seen those videos where they talk about how expensive it is. But on our end, the fact that they'll take everything is quite helpful. It's like I don't
mhm,
have to sort through this. I can just here you go,
mhm.
and then they have someone sort through it. And then they're
Yes.
they're passing it on to people who need it. And if they don't use it, they give it to someone else. I mean, it's just one more cog in the machine, of all of our stuff. It's just
Mhm.
so incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the bit of stuff that they don't take, I do ask them permission to throw it in their dumpster. Please
Yeah.
don't do this, guys, without asking
Yeah. Yes.
permission.
Please get permission.
Please.
Yes.
I am not responsible for what happens if you do ask for permission. But I ask them permission. Can I put this in your dumpster? And
Mm,
so
mhm.
once they've taken everything
Yeah.
and whatever I, you know, still need to get rid of, I'm able to, put it their dumpster. And if I can't, I will go to the dump,
Yeah. Yeah.
but that's a whole nother
That
thing.
is that is a whole that is
It's
definitely
a whole nother
yeah.
thing, but
Yeah. Yeah.
all right. Okay. Well, I think we should probably be at the end here,
Okay.
but
Okay.
it's
This
been
has
so
been
much
great.
fun. We've had
Yeah.
so much fun. Um,
Yeah.
Now, I always like our audience to know
Mm,
all of our guests, none of us think we're perfect.
no.
So, what is something in our lives, and it doesn't necessarily have to be organizing, but
Mhm. Mhm.
whatever you feel, because since we do declutter faith,
Mhm.
home, and business, it can be
Mhm.
any of those. What is an
Mhm.
area that you're still working on that you still what's that saying? It's not perfect, progress,
It's
not
in progress.
perfection.
Yes, progress, not perfection.
Yeah. And then what is an
Yeah.
area that you're very, very proud of?
Yeah. I'll start with the easy one. This the thing that I'm most proud of. And what I am most proud of is that what is in my home is everything I love.
Mhm.
That I don't keep things that just don't mean something to me. And but that's kind of I've been that's a built-in thing. Like I've always been that way my whole life. But that is something that I'm glad for. I don't have to deal with stuff that is just weighing me down. An area that I that is in progress. There's so many of those. I think I have a lot of irons in the fire. And so for me, being more intentional with how I block my time is something that is really on my agenda this next year, is figuring out how much time each thing that I have, each little iron I have in the fire, how much time does it really need?
Mhm.
There's a lot of stuff that I want to do, but do I really need to do it? And then finding the time to do that. And in order to do that, because that is something that I really struggle with, I have actually hired my own coach to help me go
Mhm.
through, weed out the stuff that this isn't necessary, but this is. And then how am I going to create the time to
Mhm.
be efficient in that? And it's kind of ironic that you teach someone time management and yet that's the struggle you have. But maybe
Yeah.
that's why I teach it, is because it's the
Mhm.
struggle I have.
Yeah, I
So
think
there's, yeah,
sometimes we
yeah,
teach what we've come through,
yes, yes,
and
yes.
but just to give yourself a little bit of grace, I
Hmm.
think when we're helping other people, we
Hmm.
see what they don't see.
Yes,
But
yes. And that's why
we
having, yes.
sometimes have to hire someone
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
see the things in our own
Yes,
that we don't see. So
yes,
it's not
yes.
the fact that we're just all that in a bottle of, a ball of wax. It's just
Right,
that
exactly.
when we're
Exactly.
helping clients, we see
Mhm.
what they don't see. And we're not
Absolutely.
attached
Yes.
to their
Yeah.
things. But when
Right,
we're
exactly.
attached to our busyness or
Right.
whatever the thing is, we're
Yes.
attached to whatever we're
Yes.
attached to. Sometimes we also have to
Mhm.
have someone help us see what we don't see. So
Absolutely.
that
And
is
it's,
where, we have to give
yeah.
ourselves grace.
Yeah. Yeah,
We have
that's
to give
true. Yeah.
ourselves grace.
Yeah.
And
And to be at a point where you recognize, hey, you know what, I need someone else's help is
mhm,
not a bad thing. That's
right.
actually a really good thing. And
Mhm,
so that's one thing I have learned with helping other people. It's like,
mhm,
oh, maybe I could use some help myself.
mhm.
And so that's what I've
Yeah, I
decided to
mean, that's
do.
the
Yeah.
whole purpose. That's the
Yeah.
whole reason we depend on the Lord. It's
Absolutely.
because
Yes.
we can't be the end all be all to ourselves
No.
either.
Yeah.
Only
Yeah.
God can be everything to us.
Yes.
And if we can learn to depend on him,
Mhm.
and I'm going to say depend on others, but I'm not talking about it the same. We're not talking
No.
depending on others the way we say depend upon the Lord. It's
Yes.
just that sometimes we need other people to show us what we don't see, just as we also need the Lord to show us
Yeah.
what we don't see.
Well, and I think that God uses other people to
Yes,
get that accomplished. So he's not going to come
yes,
down and say, hey, you need to figure this out. This is how you do it. He's going to send people our
yes.
way.
We are his hands
Yes,
and feet
we
here on
are his.
earth.
Yes. And I think, isn't there a proverb that says a three-stranded cord is it's stronger. So
Mhm.
having help I think that's God's intention in the
Yes,
world, is to work with each other, help each
yes.
other. Yeah.
Yes, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, tell our audience all the things
Okay.
if they want to find you.
Sure.
Um, and yeah. And we will
Okay.
also, of course, I
Uh-huh.
always say this, and you
Uh-huh.
always know that every YouTuber does this, but everything will be in the description as
Yes.
well.
Yes. Yes. So my My organizing business is called Clutter Free Indeed, and I'm on Facebook. It's clutterfreeindeed.com, and my website. My coaching, life coaching, is Living in His Purpose Life Coaching,
Mhm.
and the website is lhplifecoach.com. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. My organizing is on Facebook, it's just not as active as the
Mhm.
coaching. But I'm on Instagram, Living in His Purpose. That's kind of where I am everywhere. Facebook, I'm on TikTok, I'm on YouTube. And then I have the podcast everywhere, Living in His Purpose podcast.
Okay. Awesome.
So a little bit of everywhere is where I am. Yeah.
All right. And she's going to send me that
Mhm.
information and I'll
Absolutely.
just cut and paste it
Perfect. Sounds
into our
good.
description with a little bit about her and a little bit about this episode.
Okay.
And, we both want to say thank you
Absolutely.
for coming and listening to our podcast. She has her podcast.
Mhm.
Go listen to it. Go check
Yeah.
it out.
I'd
It
love
will
that.
bless you.
Yes.
And we do appreciate every single
Absolutely.
one of you. And I
Absolutely.
appreciate you as my guest.
Yes. And Carrie, thank you for having me as a guest. This has been a wonderful experience. I'm grateful for it. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And we are going to sign off.
Okay. Thank you.